Green, a color of life, nature, and envy. For today's video, I'm using every single green art supply I own to bring this feeling to life. After gathering all of the green art supplies, I realized that I am a hoarder. We have some alcohol markers, some acrylic paint markers, some gouache, ink, color pencils, and so much more. If it's green, it's going on this illustration. And of course, I have to be dressed for the occasion. Commitment on 1000. If my sleeves would act right. There we go. We have the art text paint markers, definitely one of my favorite art materials right now. These lovely Ohuhu markers, these have just never let me down. I absolutely love them. And then we have the art text alcohol markers. So we have the paint markers, and then these are the alcohol brush markers. Just in case we didn't have enough alcohol brush markers, we have the Bianyo markers because, you know, variety, I guess. We have some big markers. These are the first markers I could ever afford, so they have a special place in my heart. We have a few Sharpie markers, and then we have the Ohuhu Sharpie lookalike. Ohuhu really said, "Can I copy your homework?" And Sharpie was like, "Yeah, just change it up a little bit." We have 2 bottles of inks. We got some gouache paints, which I have no idea how to use, but today is going to be the day we figure that out. A few color pencils. I got these Illustrator markers from Five Below. They're not my favorite. They just dry up a little bit too fast. And this chunky marker I randomly found in my art room. I've literally never used it before, so today's going to be their big debut. And those are all the green art supplies I was able to find. I wanted to test out some of the more intimidating materials. So the inks and the gouache. I haven't used these inks in like maybe 2 years now. It was just one of those art supplies I saw another artist use and I was like, whoa, your art looks amazing. If I buy that, maybe my art will look amazing too. And yeah, that was not the case. Did I mention my blanket is green? I am very committed to this. Next up, I wanted to try the gouache paints just to see how they would react with water and if I could control them, and tested out some color pencils to see if there were any that could erase. Do I have anything that erases? Oh god. Oh. Okay, that does not dry fast enough for me. Alrighty, this one is dead. In the trash you go. I missed. And since I'm using a whole bunch of different mixed media materials, I will be using the Canson mixed media paper. Although I think I should have gone in with something a bit thicker. This was almost too flimsy for all the materials I'll be using. And I am sketching using this very light Arteza color pencil. It's something that it's not super pigmented, so I can kind of erase it if I make a mistake. So I'm drawing 2 characters. One is a confident, carefree girl living her best life, while the other one is just a character that's going to be oozing with envy. And of course, green is envy. I mean, we literally say green with envy. So yeah, it's just a perfect way to use my green art supplies.
My camera is struggling to focus, but I promise it'll get better in just a bit.
This piece was actually inspired by a recent incident. I had to cut off somebody I thought was a friend, but turns out not so much. One thing I noticed was that they would copy me. Like, I would be wearing a specific dress or an item, an earring, and they would say, "Oh, that's a very cute dress. Where did you get it from?" And next week we're wearing the same thing. But that was not the problem. The problem is that the compliment would always be about the item. It wouldn't be, "Oh, that looks nice on you." It'll always be about the item. But let's say it's something they don't think looks nice. It would always be, "Oh,
that dress does not look good on you. That eyeshadow does not compliment you."
But when it's something that looks nice on me, they never say, "Oh, you look really cute in that dress." They can express things they don't like about me. Always just negativity, and that is not a friend. But yeah, that was just a few things that ended our friendship. There's more, but that's all I'm gonna say. Hold up, why does this always happen with the ink? Are the markers just like super overfilled and they start leaking? But this always surprises me. It throws me off when I see it. So I am planning on using every single art material. So once I've used one item, I'm gonna move it to the right side of the screen here so we know it's been used. just to make sure that we are actually using every single art supply. And yes, you'll see me go back into the already used pile. Yeah, it's not just going to be like a one and done situation where I use the marker and then not touch it again. I'll be going back in for seconds and thirds and fourth and fifth. You get the idea. So this chunky marker, I did not think it was a highlighter. I didn't know what it was, but I did not expect it to be a highlighter. Looking at it now, I can definitely tell it's a highlighter. Like, why is the barrel so fat and the nib is so tiny? Like, I was not expecting that. Such an interesting design. So after coloring the skin, I kind of struggled a bit with the lighter green colors. Most of them just ended up going on the whites of the eyes and some bits of the outfit. I struggled a little bit with figuring out how to use the remaining lighter green colors. So this color, it looks yellow, right? The nib or the cap looks like it's green, but after putting it down on the paper, it looked a little bit yellow. So instead of coloring her entire dress this shade, I just turned it into gradients where the top half is this yellow color and stopped using it and used the other colors that looked great. Swatching as a go was a total lifesaver. These caps are so deceptive. The colors on the caps do not match always, but I'm sure most market users know that, which is why it's good to swatch in the beginning. But I have way too many art supplies for me to swatch and then remember each of them, so I just made sure to swatch each of these materials because using the wrong color can absolutely ruin the drawing. By this point, the characters are low-key kind of like blending into each other. You can hardly see where each character starts and end, but thankfully we have some darker colors that were able to save the day, and I was able to separate them a little bit more. And here's what we have so far. I'm really happy with what it looks like, and look at her little cranky face. I think we should name these characters, starting with the girl in the front. Let me think. We can name her Grass. I wanted to put her in this very cute dress with like this 3D flower embroidery. Kind of like the flower is growing out of her dress. So it kind of represents nature with the greenery. And then for our envious girl, let's name her... We can name her Pookie. Yep. We have Grass and Pookie. I love it. I'm really not good at naming characters on the spot, so forgive me. Now you can't really see much of Pookie's outfit, but she's also wearing a dress. There's one thing these two have in common. I'll give you guys a second to spot it. It's the earrings. Who do you think wore these earrings first? If you said Grass, then ding ding, you were right. Pookie copied Grass. Anyways, I just wanted it to show that this girl is envious of her friend and is literally trying to be her. And it also ties to my situation. For my envious girly pop, her hair is going to be a lighter color, and since I've already used up all of the lighter colors, I'm going back into the used pile to grab some of the lighter colors to color her hair. I know my last video the character had some flower embroidery on her, and now this character has some flower embroidery. I'm just currently obsessed with having 3D patterns on my characters. So I ended up putting this marker back into the pile because I felt like it was way too dark for me to use right now. I'm kind of saving the darker colors until the end where I can use it to maybe outline. This Sharpie marker was such a huge disappointment. It almost ruined my entire drawing. The nib is just so frayed beyond repair. It's literally like falling apart and I could barely even use it, so I didn't use much of it. But yeah, this big guy is out of commission. Hopefully I threw it away and I did not put it back into my pile of markers. Just slowly chopping away at the piece. It was definitely kind of hard trying to separate the colors without using black to outline. I definitely rely on black a lot to show clarity in my artwork. And so having this challenge definitely taught me how to separate colors based on values. So just slowing down and carefully picking the colors that will be next to each other so that they don't all completely merge. I didn't do a super good job at it, but it definitely is gonna be at the back of my mind now. Maybe not the back of my mind, the front of my mind when I'm creating my pieces. Alright, so it's time to get into the inks. I'm seriously so nervous about them. I had no idea what I was doing until I picked them up and I thought, oh, why not just use them on the background? So that's what we're going to be doing. I diluted the ink with some water to kind of help it spread out a bit more and just give it a more smoother look. But when I got around Pookie, I wanted it to have this dark, intense aura around her, so I didn't dilute the ink in this area. I wanted it to look like she had this just bad energy swirling around her. And of course, the dark aura spilled on my desk, and I spent a solid few minutes trying to scrub out this ink stain. Ugh, seriously, you guys keep away from people with bad energy. I took a quick snack break to let the ink settle and dry on the paper before continuing to work on it. So now it's all dried up. I'm going to be using the Ohuhu pens to just refine some of my line art. The pens are kind of like super light, so you can't really tell what impact they had on the piece, but it's there. Alright, so now it's time to use these acrylic paint markers. I saved these for the last because they don't really play well with alcohol markers. You can layer them on top of alcohol markers, but try not to layer alcohol markers on top of acrylic paint markers. It just doesn't turn out right. I saved them for the end because they're just super forgiving art materials. They layer on top of other materials so well, and so I was kind of using that to cover up some of my mistakes. And yeah, these acrylic paint markers were a lifesaver. They're definitely like becoming my top favorite art materials right now. Now I sadly did not end up using much of the metallic paint marker. They just did not fit well with this piece, so I just dabbed it. I gave it a quick little dab somewhere and called it a day, just to make sure that we are using it, but you can hardly see it. I'm low-key kind of covering up some of the marker work I did with the Artex acrylic paintbrush markers, but it was kind of necessary because the hair and then around her arm area was kind of looking super patchy, and so the acrylic paint markers kind of like just smooth out things, and I really like the texture it brought into Pookie's hair. But yeah, I absolutely love this color and the Artex marker, especially for this drawing. It came in a clutch. Like, I just loved how the drawing looked after using this marker. Next up, we're moving on to the gouache. I honestly loved working with these. They blended so well together, and I love the smooth texture. I think I'm definitely going to watch a few gouache tutorials and come back to this medium again. I loved it. I didn't even use it that much. I liked how they blended and how smooth and nice they felt. But I pretty much used the gouache the same way I use the acrylic paint markers. I just blended the colors in and try to fix up some of my patchy work on the characters' outfits, the skin, the hair. So yeah, these mediums are like my cleanup crew. Oh. Whoa. Let me use my teeth. Oh my god, it won't open. Oh, jeez. Oh, I see why. Why did I name this character Grass and Pookie? Now I just feel silly. Please, let's give them better names. Yeah, I literally cannot think of anything right now that's not gonna be weird as well. You know what? We'll figure it out in the comments. Help me name the characters. I was able to use this second ink bottle to tone down the yellow in Grass's outfit. It still kind of looks yellow, but now it's a little bit more greener than yellow. Oh, remember Pookie's aura? Yeah, it was not dark enough for me, so I added another layer of this ink to really give it that extra edge, to really like let you guys know she's evil. I'm just kidding. She's bad vibes. And we got 3 more art supplies left. We're slowly just chipping away at it. And then for the last art supply, the color pencil, I saved the darkest material for the last. I just wanted to make sure we could fill in those dark areas and give the piece that final punch that it needs. So we're just adding in those final little extra details, the white in the eyes, and we're done. That's a wrap. I've used every single green art supply I own on this one illustration. This was such a fun challenge. If you guys enjoyed the video, please give it a like. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye guys, thanks for watching. Let me know what color you want to see next. What emotion or theme will that color go with?